There are different types of monohybrid crosses, which I will cover, and I would simply like to give you an overview so that it's easier for you to later classify the crosses that I'm doing. There are so-called autosomal recessive crosses, and in this case, a characteristic is expressed if it is present, if the alleles are present 2 times in a recessive state, when the genotype is homozygous recessive. That's, I think, a much better way of putting it. That is homozygous, it's recessive, and autosomal recessive conditions only show up if you have this combination of alleles. Autosomal dominant conditions, these are certain genetic diseases or conditions which show up if there is one dominant allele. So a person is affected if there is a big R over here and a little r, or a dominant and another dominant. Now I'm using R again. I know in a different video this was referring to flower colors, but you can use any letter. But here right now I'm talking about genetic conditions. Sex-linked conditions are those when the allele is found on a sex chromosome. It's usually the X chromosome. The X chromosome is much larger than the Y chromosome, and there are many more possibilities if for an allele to be found on the X chromosome. That is basically, again, another form of inheritance, which I'm going to talk about. And codominance, the classical example for codominance is the inheritance of blood groups. Where you do not only have a dominant and a recessive one, but as a matter of fact, you have 2 dominant alleles and 1 recessive. So there are overall 3 alleles. And of course, we only have capital and lowercase. So how can we include a third letter here? And this is also something that I'm going to explain. Now, human beings have 46 chromosomes unless there is a chromosomal non-disjunction mutation. And these chromosomes, they have names. They're so-called autosomes, and these are the non-sex chromosomes, and they're numbered from 1 to 22. And then there are also the sex chromosomes, X and Y chromosomes. Now, how does this work if there are 46 chromosomes? The chromosomes 1 to 22 are always in pairs. So there is 2 times the number 1 chromosome, 2 times the number 2, and so on. So 22 times 2 makes 44 chromosomes. And then there is our X and Y chromosomes. And in females, you have 2 X chromosomes in addition to your 44 over here. So you have 44 autosomes and plus X and another X chromosome. We're talking about females here. And males, they have 44 autosomes plus X and a Y chromosome. Now the X and the X, that's also one pair. They are homologous chromosomes. That's a pair as well. So females, women have a total of 23 pairs. And males have 22 pairs plus X plus Y. So this was a basic overview so that you know what basically expects you in the other videos.